On Wednesday, Harry stepped back into the witness box for a third day in his ongoing legal fight against Associated Newspapers Limited, the company behind the Daily Mail. What should have been a significant and serious moment in his campaign against unlawful information gathering quickly shifted into something very different. A display marked by selective recollection, emotional dramatics, and claims that didn't always line up with the facts. Throughout his testimony, Harry became visibly emotional as he spoke about the distress caused by private details about himself and Meghan Markle being made public. Tears. A shaking voice. Long, dramatic pauses. The entire emotional showcase. But for many watching, one issue stood out. Large portions of his testimony had little connection to the actual case, a case centered on events that took place 15 to 20 years ago. So why was Meghan brought into the conversation again, and again, and again? The hearing took a more intriguing turn when A&L's lawyer, Anthony White KC, introduced the matter of a Facebook account known as Mr. Mischief. According to Mr. White, the account was allegedly used to reach out to Mail on Sunday journalist Charlotte Griffiths, someone said to be part of Harry's wider social circle. He claimed that friendly conversations took place, with phone numbers even being exchanged. Harry's reaction? Complete denial. He maintained that he had never used the name Mr. Mischief and couldn't say whether he had ever contacted Griffiths at all. No recollection, no awareness, nothing to acknowledge. Convenient, wouldn't you say? When Mr. White suggested that Harry was aware his social circle may have been leaking information, Harry rejected the idea immediately. My social circles were not leaky. Absolutely clear. No leaks. No insiders. No betrayal. Just sensitive information somehow surfacing on its own, right? Throughout the proceedings, Harry relied heavily on a familiar emotional narrative. My mother died. My family failed me. My wife suffered. The press destroyed everything. Observers noted that he appeared exhausted and sleep-deprived, possibly unsettled by being called to testify earlier than expected. He even challenged the judge on more than one occasion. Hardly the conduct of someone steady and confident in their position. To critics, it didn't come across as resilience, but rather desperation. And behind the emotion, many sensed something deeper. Genuine fear. Fear of losing the case. Fear of damaging his public image. Fear of what the outcome could mean for his marriage and his other ongoing legal fights. When the pressure builds, Harry doesn't lean harder on facts. He leans harder on emotion. His entire argument depends on the claim that humiliating stories and photographs were obtained unlawfully, that his privacy was violated, and that none of it came from people within his inner circle. Yet, many of his most notorious moments unfolded in plain sight. Wild partying, inappropriate behavior, the infamous naked photos in Las Vegas, late nights fueled by alcohol, careless jokes made in public. None of that required phone hacking. It simply required Harry being there and doing it. And yes, some of that information clearly came from the very social circle he insists was never leaky. Because information being leaked doesn't mean the events themselves never happened. As the case continues, the trial is starting to resemble less a pursuit of justice and more a carefully managed public relations exercise. Harry understands how storytelling works. For years, he has used the media to settle personal scores, criticize family members, and reshape past events. He knows just how powerful public perception can be. That's why Diana's name is invoked. That's why Meghan remains front and center. That's why blame is placed on the institution. Every emotional lever is pulled, not to reform journalism, but to repair his reputation. British reporters were far from convinced. Tom Peake of The Times described how Harry avoided direct answers, dismissed evidence as disgusting, and chose to argue rather than respond. At one stage, the judge was forced to remind him that witnesses are expected to answer questions, not engage in debates with lawyers. Peake also pointed out Harry's exaggerated pauses, lingering stares, and precisely timed tears, particularly toward the end, where such moments are often carefully planned. Put simply, performance over proof. By the time his testimony concluded, Harry had spoken at length about almost everything, except the one thing that truly mattered: clear, concrete, evidence. Instead, he placed blame on the press for his drinking, his failed relationships, his poor decisions, his unhappiness, and even his marriage. Nothing, it seems, is ever his responsibility. Accountability is consistently shifted elsewhere. He insists he wants his life kept out of the public eye, all while appearing in documentaries, releasing memoirs, and living through curated moments on social media. The contradictions never stop.